Well, you're recovering from the election in Washington, D.C., and they were all jacked up for that thing and thought, because here most of them are Democrats, and boy, there's a lot of sorry faces today. But what I'm trying to get over is that no matter who wins or who won, because it's over now, there's going to be more grants available in next year than ever before. I mean, the way I see the presidential election, it's somebody, okay, in charge of the ship, but it's hard to change the ship. It's so goddamn big and it's been around for so long. So they just able to change it maybe a degree or two, and that won't see any big effects for a couple of years. So down the path where things really change. So if you have problems, financial problems now, who's ever in the White House in January isn't going to make a whole lot of difference because the programs, most of them are baked in. That's why you should learn about these programs, because you can be able to use them forever and everybody, no matter what you. And the conservatives use them just as much, or probably even more, because they get more money. They don't have to live on the lower programs, they live on the bigger programs, okay? So that's why these programs will always be around, and there'll be new ones, and the conservatives get in, they'll make more programs for the conservatives. And the Democrats get in, they make more programs for them or for their needs. And I guess that's what democracy is about. People, we listen to the voices, and then who's ever running the ship tries to help them. And that's just, don't forget, the government and nonprofit organizations, about 30% or 33% or in that area. About a third of everything in our country is government or nonprofit organizations. And this is what we set up as a community. Our education system's there for people to get smart. Our military's there. A lot of healthcare is there. I think healthcare, the government pays for about half of all the healthcare that is in this country. Even though it's not all government health care. It probably will be someday, because it seems that the people do that get better health care for about half the price we do. And the problem is the people making money in the current system really aren't too thrilled about changing the system. So there's less money for them. So that's why it's hard to get through. But they're citizens too and have a right. And so it's a hard thing to do. Democracy is hard. See, a good dictator just do it all. And I guess that Socrates or whatever said, the ideal government is a benevolent dictator. Okay? So you don't have the committees and have to please everybody. But I just put up some more websites here for members, and I'll put them in YouTube at the end. And some new programs I run into, because I study new programs every day. Here's a program in Austin. They're giving, if you're making up to $63,000 and you're afraid of losing your home, you could get a $10,000 grant for rent, to pay like rent you owe, moving expenses, and relocation costs, and eviction. See, we're still going to have a lot of evictions in this country because of the housing shortage. So the housing shortage, that means the demand for housing is bigger. That means people could charge more for rent or for selling houses and things like that. That means people on fixed incomes or don't make a lot of money, they can't handle that. And they get stuck and they can't handle the increase. They can't pay. And so when you don't pay, then they evict you, because we have laws to protect the landlords if you don't pay. Okay, but remember, if you're involved in eviction, you have to get a lawyer, because it seems like 80% or more of the people who get lawyers, they win in court. They win against the landlord. The problem is most renters don't get a lawyer, and so they go to court, and the lawyer knows the law, and nobody knows the law for your side. They know the law on the landlord's side, but not on your side. So if you're there with somebody who knows the law on your side, then you could win a lot of times. I mean, most of the times you win with that. Or you could even sue them for not doing it right. See, if they didn't follow the rules in evicting you, you get money from them. So that's what you want to do. Now, how to find a free lawyer? I think you go to just, J-U-S-T, and then shelter, SHELTER.org. And listen, please call them. And that's another thing. When you're looking for help, don't just go to a website, so justshelter.org, and try to fill out a form. No, there, for that, you want to call. You call the free lawyers that are there to help explain to you your rights and get free representation in court if you have to go to court. And that's so important to do. Otherwise, you're going to get pissed off at the system because the system beat you up. Well, the system protects both sides, protects the landlord and the renter. So for you not to get beat up by the system, you have to know how it's protecting you. And you're not going to know that if you're not a lawyer. So that's why you have to get a lawyer. And they're free. So there's lawyers free to help protect you. And that's why everybody thinks we live in a democracy. It's the fairest country in the world or something. And it is if you have a lawyer. You got smart lawyers. Just look at Trump, boy. He got smart lawyers who figured out a way to do this. I have no idea how he does it. I would have given up long ago. But he's got tenacity like no one else I've seen. So that's city. See, all this at the local level too. You're not going to Washington. That's another reason why no matter who's the new president, it's not going to change. You know, there's hardly anything that'll change. The name on the dollar bill or something. I don't know what he signs. I don't think that he signs that. But no, just nibble around the edges somewhere. But he's able to make policy that will really change a lot in the future. I mean, it takes a year or two to do anything anyway. Like Biden's programs are not even all in force yet. That's right. He's been there 4 years screwing around, right? And he started a lot of stuff, particularly to start on energy stuff. So if you have a home, want a big home, and want to be more energy efficient, there's so many programs, that Biden started, and they're just starting to become available. They're not even available everywhere, but start finding out where in your state they are. And you do that by going to your state Department of Energy. Every state now has a Department of Energy, and they're running these programs. And that's where you can get up to $17,000 for new appliances and stuff like that. So you're more energy efficient, and that's it. And the same is like the car. I'm sorry. We're getting the $7,500 to buy an electric car, and actually, I think I just talked to somebody today in Colorado. They give you an extra $6,000. Wow, that's $14,000 to buy a car almost, right? Okay, so remember, grants for rent. Go to findhelp.org, put in your zip code, and then put in rent, and you'll find more places rent. And please, please call. You're not going to get anything until you get on that phone, call any and all of the people who are listed there as nonprofit organizations and see if they could help you. They may or may not be able to help you. I mean, that's life. You have to get ready for reality of life. You go on Google, is unreal because you hear me, get this, and you think you could get it so easily. That may or may not happen, and you have to make it happen by putting effort into this. And that means calling the people, seeing if you're eligible, and if you're not, then you have to ask them, where else can you go that you may be eligible for? So you have to do that. You're not going to have a magic place. The world is too complicated for that. Okay, here, there's a program in Oregon, $60,000, a grant for down payment and closing costs for incomes up to $85,000. So if you're making $85,000, you could get a grant for $60,000. Man, see, I mean, I don't know about you, but when I was younger thinking about government programs, I thought you had to be, poverty or something. By the way, I just got a new data source about poverty. And This is OECD. This is from them. You don't know them? Office of Economic, actually, it's the rich people. Okay, so the rich people in the world, all the countries that are developed, you know, like America, there's about 30 or more countries that are considered developed. Then we have a lot of semi-developed and underdeveloped. Okay, I'm looking at a report here of developed countries and their poverty rates, like how much poverty is in the developed countries. So what's England, what's the United States, or whatever, and who has the most the most amount of poor people. That's what it is. Now, who would you guess in the developed countries? So that's Austria, Belgium, Bulgaria, Canada, Costa Rica, Czechoslovakia, Denmark, Estonia, Finland, France, Germany, all the ones you heard a lot about. Netherlands, Korea, Lithuania, Luxembourg, Norway, Poland, Portugal, Romania, Slovakia, Slovenia, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, Turkey, United Kingdom, United States, and Croatia. Okay, now of those, who do you think has the most poor people per capita? Okay, it is, drumroll, Costa Rica. Okay, so they have 21% of all their people live in poverty, 21% in Costa Rica. So, you know, you're not looking at African countries, you're not even looking at China, you know, which are a lot more percentage-wise. So that's why these are developed countries, people who have a higher income level. Okay, who's the second poorest? In other words, these are second from the bottom, and the second country has more poor people per capita than anybody else except Costa Rica. They're number 2 in the amount of poor people, okay? Who do you think it is? Bing! United States. 18% of our population live in poverty. Costa Rica is 21%. Everyone else is a lot less. Okay, Germany is 11%, we're 18%. Greece is 11%, we're 18%. Hungary is 6%, we're 18%. Ireland is 9%, we're 18%. Israel is 16%, they're pretty close, aren't they? Italy is 12%, and we're 18%. So we have more poor people than Italy. We have more poor people than Latvia. We have more poor people than Luxembourg. We have twice as many poor people as Luxembourg. We have more poor people than Mexico. How do you like that? More poor people in the United States than in Mexico. Why do they run in here? Makes no sense at all, does it? Netherlands, twice as many as the Netherlands. New Zealand, they're at 12%. Norway, more than twice. They're only at 7%. Poland, 8%. That's my heritage. Poland, Czechoslovakia. Portugal, 9%. We're 18%. Portugal is 9%. I was over there. It's a nice city. And actually, they're getting too many people, expatriates that are living there, because you could take your Social Security, retire there. Live pretty good. Romania, 16%. Well, that's pretty high. Slovak Republic, that's a really, I am Slovak. Spain, 14%. We're 18%. Remember that. Sweden, 9%. We're 18%. That's the amount of poverty. Turkey, Turkey, they're only 14%. We're 18%. Isn't that amazing? Okay, but you know what we're number 1 at? Creating millionaires and billionaires. We're number 1. Now we're only number 2 in creating people in poverty. So we got to get out there and try to be number 1, right? We're number 1 in everything. Now we're going to be we want to be number 1 in creating poor people. What's wrong with you Americans? Why are you number 2? We don't, we're not number 2 in America. We're number 1 at everything. We're only number 2 at creating poor people. Oh, I love that joke. Okay, here's another grant that's new, called a birth grant. Okay, New York's talking about doing this, and there's a lot of things like that. And it's also called baby bonds. So that's something to look for, no matter where you live. I know there's a lot of cities that have that. And that's because you have a child. Now, the birth grant in New York, but see, we're number one in poverty, and a lot of that, I think we're number one in child poverty. So we're number two in poverty, but I think we may be number one in child poverty. I'm not sure, I'll have to check that out. But it makes sense if we're number two in overall poverty, you know. And so we have baby bonds, $1,800 that you get in your third trimester of pregnancy. So I guess this is the anti-abortion thing, is a baby bond. We'll give you $1,800 to keep your child. See, maybe that's what's going on here. But we do have also baby bonds. And to find things like this is you want to go to findhelp.org. That's findhelp.org. And then you, let's see what's going on here. Findhelp.org and put in child, so and programs for children. So that will be there. And Michelle said, yeah, your community action agency is good. They're going to know about those kinds of things. So you want to contact people like the community action agency who are in business to help solve a problem like yours. So they're going to know more about, but they won't know everything. So that's why when you get information from one person, don't think you have all the information. You have to keep looking after that. Okay, so we have baby bonds, $1,800. Now here's another thing. If you're 55 or older, the government wants to pay you some money to be a foster grandparent. You know, we have a lot of foster children that live in foster homes. Well, we need foster grandparents, okay? And the government pays you a stipend if you're 55 or older to do this. It's a part-time gig, but they pay for your meals and travel allowance to be a foster grandparent. Okay, how do you do that? Okay, the best way is to contact your Career One-Stop Center. Career One-Stop Center to learn about the foster grandparent play that they pay you. Okay, now what's going on a lot too in all over the country, and no matter who's in, well, I think Harris was talking about it more, but housing is such a problem. Okay, so no matter who the president is, we got to do something with that. And Trump is a developer, so he should know something about this stuff. But who knows what's he going to do? But also, this comes at the local level too a lot. So there'll be a lot of programs and like this. And what they do is the government gives out money to people who want to build homes or take old homes and renovate them and put them on the market, okay? Homes that are people want. So they're giving you money to be a real estate investor. And so this is one in Toledo, grants up to $1 million to buy old houses, and you get $250,000 to renovate these old houses and make them available for sales. Okay, here's another interesting one. So we got a lot of baby boomers like me that are retiring. I'm not going to retire. That's like, I'm doing something I'm going to do for the rest of my life. That's why I think retirement's dumb. Why do you want to do nothing? You find something you want to do in life, you know, and figure out how to get money for it, and then you could do that until you die. That's why I plan to do this until I die. I give most of my Social Security money back. I don't give it to the government. I put it as a scholarship fund at a local community college. I keep some myself, just in case. I'm a little paranoid. As a scholarship fund for single moms. Because you need the skills and the education to provide for a family. And so I think single moms are really the backbone of our country. If we didn't have these single moms taking care of their kids, we'd be in big doo-doo. Okay, so retirement, oh, that's all right. People are retiring, and you're working for a small business, maybe the person's gonna retire. Well, here what they're doing in this program, giving you up to $200,000 to buy that business, okay? So you're working for that business, you get $200,000 to buy your boss's business when they want to retire. Wow, I mean, that's cool, isn't it? I think so, but, you know, who knows? Also, what they have in Colorado is for, you have a little online business, they give you $2,500 for online marketing grant. $2,500 for an online marketing grant. Now that's pretty cool too. Or here, $10,000 grants for military-owned farms. Okay, $10,000 grant if you're a veteran or military-owned farm. There's a lot of money going into people who want to raise food. And you go to your local county cooperative extension agency, ask about that, or you go to rd.usda.gov, RD for rural development, and then .usda.gov. Okay. See, if you want to get anything, you're going to have to get on that phone. You call those organizations and ask them. And yes, you probably get the runaround. And yes, it's probably going to make a half a dozen calls or more just to get the first person. But that is what life is. And if you're watching Google, it doesn't tell you that. It tells you, all you have to do is do this, and be a millionaire by Tuesday night. and that's nonsense. Yeah, sure, you could find somebody that it happened to. But for you and I, it's probably not going to happen. Okay, you got to get out and do the work, make a bunch of calls and keep calling people until you get what you want. The only people that don't get something are those that stop. Stop, okay? And that's the key. Okay, here, I got some other things here for grants for people over 40. How do you like that? I think I did it, I don't know. This is it. Okay, remember, the government thinks you're a senior at age 40. That's when the government thinks you're a senior, age 40. Here's an 800 number. If you're in a job and you feel you didn't get that job or they fired you because of a younger person, that's against the law. That's age discrimination. And you could sue the suckers and get money from them. Here's who you call. You call the EEOC, Office of Economic and, I forget, Opportunity Commission. 800-669-4000. 800-669-4000. Okay, training money. So at 40, 50, 60, or 22, you want to get a better grant, you want to get a better job, higher paying, and get and get paid to train for a better job and get your training paid for without having to spend $40,000 a year going to college. You go to this, it's called the Career One Stop, careeronestop.org. Okay, and that's where you want to go. I got sorry. Okay, careeronestop.org. Okay, for housing, you want to build a new house, move into a new house, stop renting, and get a house. You have to talk to people who help people buy houses, and that's not real estate. These are consultants that the government hires for you to find the best deal for you for buying a home. They're not making commission, and so they have you in mind, not them. The other people you're going to find in the real estate game, it's natural instinct that they want to, guide you to something they're going to make money at. That means they make a commission. When the grants to buy houses, they don't give commissions. So they have no incentive to do that. If they're getting a commission from the bank or the realtor or something like that, that's what they're doing. How do you find them? A good place to start is HUD, HUD.gov. Okay, HUD.gov. And you make an appointment, HUD.gov/counseling, and make an appointment with a counselor, okay, a housing counselor, and they'll fix up your credit card too. And we do that too on Sunday nights. Megan helps people fix their credit score. She also gave another seminar yesterday, and these are all free. Our seminars, we will never pay. When you join Let's Go Help and pay $20, everything else, never pay me another nickel except for next month. When we charge you $20 again. So it's a subscription, but you can come and go as easily or as much as you want. And she helps one-on-one that. And today, we have 2, 3, 4 hours sometimes per day of members helping members apply for government money programs, okay? Remember, everyone's eligible, no matter what your income, no matter what your age is or nationality. No, but every program is different. That's why you have to get out there and start looking for yours. And you can't do that by using Google. You gotta get out of Google, see the kind of sources that we're doing. The only people you want to talk to are people whose website ends in gov or org. That's government or nonprofit organizations. Okay, guys, I gotta go. I got a little cold in my throat. I feel it starting again. I had to do a blog, no, podcast. I'm doing podcasts now, so if you know of anybody who runs podcasts and you want, you need a trained seal to get people excited on a podcast, let me know. I want to educate people, as many people as I possibly can. So there's a lot of possibilities out there, so if you could help me with that, that would be very much appreciated. But remember, letsgohelp.com. And our next giveaway is on the 15th, where we give out $15,000 to help people with car repair. $15,000, okay? On Joe. Joe, I don't think I was ever on Joe Rogan. Yeah. Yeah, he's the biggest podcaster, I guess, in the world. Everybody. Well, thank you again for helping me grow my heart. That's all I'm trying to do for the rest of my life now, is help people find the programs that will help them have a better life. And I can't certainly change your life upside down or whatever, but the programs are there to do this. And that's why they're put in. These are all tax dollars that you paid for. And the rich people use the hell out of them. That's why people like Bezos and Tesla guy, they're trying to get close to the president because they know they get so much grant money, it's sickening. You could never imagine. They get billions and billions from government. So that's why instead of starting a new business or idea for business, it's easier to get a law changed. And if you know somebody, it's easier maybe to get a law changed. So you can make more money. Okay? So I'll show you how you can use this too without taking somebody to dinner too. It's for everybody.